at a wrong time. I don't know, the you participant have seen that Nokia 3150, the first keypad mobile phone. But at our time, the first mobile phone, it is a wireless communication device. So that device is used for communication. So it was a resource for a previous time. Right now also we are using phone, but the definition of that phone, the mobile device, is changed. Now it is what? Smartphone. So for the that keypad phone, for today's context, it is a wrong time and a wrong form. When we throw other than the plastic at a wrong place for a long time and in a wrong form. So I have kept a picture that what we are saying, why it is wrong place, why it is wrong time, and why it is in wrong form. Right? You can see the e-waste at the bottom of the picture. The PC, you most of you have not seen this type of monitor right now. Now it is LCD, very thin monitor screen that we are using, but both functions in a same way. But this is a time, this is a context, this is a demand for today. It is no more resource for us. So waste is nothing but it is a resource at wrong place, wrong time, and in a wrong form. So we must understand how many types of solid waste are there. When we heard the waste, we only consider it is solid in nature. But first we have to understand, as an environmental engineer or chemical engineer or as an engineer, broader category. There must be subcategories. Broader So, majoritarily observe the paper and plastic waste. Then second category of the waste is hazardous waste. The name suggests it is hazardous. When we heard the word hazardous, means it has a potential to create harm to us, right? So when we think of hazardous waste, the physical form could be solid, could be semi-solid, and could be liquid also. There is a myth that hazardous waste is always in solid and semi-solid form, but it can be in liquid form also, and majority of the time it is in liquid form also at the industry level. What are the generation? Majoritarily the hazardous waste we call, they generate from the chemical industries. Any industry that generate either solid, semi-solid or liquid waste, they all are sources of generation for hazardous waste. I have put the example of that. You all must be aware about sludge, right? Sludge is the product of the treatment plant, whether it be water treatment plant, whether it be sewage treatment plant, whether it be common effluent treatment plant, right? So the sludge, basically what we engineers do, whatever pollutant, contaminant present in our water or even if in air stream, somehow we converted into sludge, right? So sludge is the biggest example of being hazardous. Then waste oil. then various types of solvents that are used in the industry. And the third category, if I say, it is a biomedical waste. So biomedical waste normally termed as BMW, right? So BMW is not a car here. For here it is biomedical waste. So biomedical waste is also having a three form. It can be solid, it can be semi solid, it can be a liquid. So, what are the sources of generation of this biomedical waste? Uh, Majoritarily the hospitals, clinics, laboratory, even research center, and even a blood banks also. So, what are the example? There would be the 10 category of the biomedical waste, right? So that is a separate topic of discussion, but I have put so that you can understand what comes under biomedical waste. Syringe, dressing, blood waste, even sharp needles, they all are come under the biomedical waste. And the fourth category, we all are the huge consumer of this electronic devices, and we are the huge producer of the e-waste, right? So we must understand that fourth category also, and that comes under the solid waste. So the physical form is majoritarily it is solid, right? What are the sources of generation? We all know we are the generator. The offices, the IT sectors, you name the place, they are generator of the e-waste in now, in current conditions. Computer, mobile phone, circuit boards. So these are the types of solid waste, in which form they are generating, who are the generator, and these are the example. Then we can, another way we can classify the solid waste. Solid waste can be classified based on source. We have just seen educational campuses, household activity, community, they are come under domestic or municipal solid waste. The industry who generates hazardous waste. And there is separate category because we as a India, we, that is agro country, we rely on agricultural activities. So agricultural waste we cannot forget about, right? So hospitals, they are also come under the based on source biomedical waste and the e-waste. Second classification we can do based on biodegradability. So biodegradable waste, some solid waste, some semi-solid waste, some liquid waste can be biodegradable. So if I say biodegradable waste means what? Biodegradable waste means with the help of microorganism, it can degrade into simpler product, either aerobically, either anaerobically. So natural process can be done. If I give the example of biodegradable waste, when we eat banana and we throw banana peel on the road, we are not going to add microorganism on banana peel, but if you visit that place after 2 or 3 days, that banana peel is degraded. You can see foul smell is coming out, watery part is coming out. So that is a sign that the banana peel is biodegradable in nature. On the contradictory, non biodegradable waste. So classical example, even United Nations is talking about this waste called plastic waste. So plastic waste are non biodegradable. Since 2 3 years they had kept a theme, beat the plastic pollution on World Environment Day. So this non biodegradable type of solid waste are really creating a problem for the environmental engineers. Then the waste can be classified based on the combustibility, whether that waste can catch the fire or the waste cannot catch the fire. So the combustible waste, right, we all know that it is our normal practice before 5 or 6 years back. Wherever there is agricultural waste or garden waste is collected, we simply burned it, right? So that catches the fire. So that is combustible waste. But there are waste. Definitely there are waste like ferrous waste, metal waste, glass waste. They all are non-combustible. Even if you give a fuel, even if you provide oxygen, it does not catch fire. Based on now the another category is based on compostability. Can we convert the solid waste into compost or not? So what is compost? Compost is nothing but the fertilizer. So whether the waste has a potential to convert it into compost or fertilizer or not, we can see that. So the major 45% of our municipal solid waste is compostable. Still we are observing that waste is going to the landfill, and another is not compostable. All the waste cannot converted into fertilizer, right? So paper waste is there, plastic waste is there, inert is there, they are not compostable. So the category we must understand, the waste based on compostability, waste can be non compostable also. Then based on the resource value, how, whether they can reuse or recycle or not. So organic waste, recyclable waste, and inert waste. So up till now we have understood that what is waste, then what is the sources of generation of waste, and how we classified the waste. Now the question is why we are doing this. What is the need to classify this? Because waste has environmental impacts. So the picture itself telling you that it has five detrimental effects, negative effects of these solid waste. First is air pollution. Everyone, whether they are learned, non-learned, everyone can say with the smell, with the black smoke coming out, that this is air pollution. So wherever we pile up the solid waste, it can create air pollution, right? The learned people or whosoever is having a knowledge, they are not burning the waste. But we all know the situation of Delhi in winter, there they burn the paddy waste. So the open burning of the waste cause air pollution. Odorous, right? If our municipality person does not come to collect the waste within the 24 hour, what happened? We say that throw this waste. The waste should not be in my house more than 24 hours, because it has tendency to generate the odor. Greenhouse gas emission. Everyone, right now we are eagerly waiting for the rain, and it is generally saying that 15th June is the date where we receive the monsoon, but it is delayed. And European countries, UK countries, they are facing elevated temperature. So what is the reason behind it? So reason is the greenhouse gas emission, and that in turn leads to climate change, right? So that is air pollution. Second is water pollution, because whenever you pile up the waste layer by layer under the pressure, it the watery part which is come out, so watery part come out from the solid waste is known as leachate. So there is chances of leachate contamination, there is a chances of water pollution, surface water pollution, if leachate find its way towards river or lake. So surface water pollution, even if a groundwater contamination. Right now fortunately we all have liner system in our sanitary and secure landfill site, so we take precautionary principle. But the older sites of solid waste disposal sites, they are not having liner system, they are not designed engineered way. So the leachate percolates through the soil strata and can create groundwater contamination. It can also cause soil pollution. Our solid waste, we don't segregate our waste at all. And many of you will agree, if we segregate, municipality will not segregate the waste. So ultimately, whatever we throw in our dustbin together going on the landfill. So there would be chances of heavy metal accumulation in the soil, toxic chemical contamination. We use so many types of perfumes and luxury items for beauty purpose, so they have some toxic chemical into it. So when we throw that into our dustbin, it will cause soil pollution, and due to that our soil loses fertility. Then public health impacts. uh, if I say before 12 to 15 years back, mosquito in Ahmedabad was not this much high. But mosquito in Ahmedabad in this summer season, which is not favorable temperature for them also, but we find mosquito. So, what is the reason behind it? Because they breed over this solid waste, right? So they are responsible to for creating vector borne diseases, right? They can responsible for respiratory diseases, and we may across the skin infection. And as I told you, they are also responsible for climate change. Now the question arises, we understood what are the environmental implications, what are the problems with the solid waste. Now we have to understand what to do with this waste. If waste is generating, the problems are there, what we can do. So if I talk about not global, but if I talk about only the Gujarat level, so we have almost 170 urban local bodies which are responsible to manage the municipal solid waste in Gujarat. These data are taken from the annual report of uh, Gujarat Pollution Control Board 24-25, right? So they are saying that the municipal solid waste generation is somewhere around 12,000 tons per day. It is ton per day, right? So 12,000 tons per day from 170 urban local bodies. Then there are almost 7,751 industries who are generating hazardous waste. Industries are many, but as per the Central Pollution Control Board record, it is saying that almost 7,751 industries, they are generating 6.32 million metric ton of the hazardous waste per year. And the biomedical waste, that is 56.5 tons per day from more than 3,500 healthcare facilities. So, if the quantum of the waste generation from these three sectors, one is the domestic sector, another is industrial sector, and another is the hospitals or healthcare sector. So we cannot remain silent as an environmental engineer. We have to manage them scientifically and safely so that environmental implications can be minimized or make it zero also, right? So this waste is generating. Why? So, for that, you have to see that Gujarat is an industrial growth engine of the India, right? Why it is industrial growth engine? Because we can see the golden corridor. You must all know about this golden industrial corridor starting from Ahmedabad to Vapi, right? So this golden corridor is industrial growth engine. Majority, it is said that 28.76% of India's hazardous waste generation is from this golden corridor. So we must understand that huge quantum of the hazardous waste generation is done by the Gujarat itself, right? So management of these hazardous waste, not only hazardous waste, the municipal solid waste as well as the biomedical waste should be the utmost priority for the Gujarat state. So looking at the golden corridor, and we all know that Gujarat is a growth engine, my entire focus of the uh, now onwards presentation would be on hazardous waste sector, because that we have to understand, right? So what are the traditional waste management principle, what we do with the waste, how we manage the waste traditionally? So the principle called cradle to grave. So what is cradle? Panu. And a grave, last riots, right? So the traditional linear waste management approach that our entire Gujarat state follow, or our management principle also talking about this principle cradle to grave, in which product is tracked and managed throughout its entire life, the waste generation to its final destiny, from raw material extraction to final its disposal. The primary objective is to ensure safe collection, transportation, treatment, and disposal of waste in order to minimize adverse impact. What I told, what is the objective of management, waste management? We are minimizing the environmental implications. The ways could be different. Here, way is we first focus our primary objective. Let's collect the waste first. When I was with the GPCB, I was come across with the problem that our 50% of the municipal solid waste is collected. Means 50% of the waste is throwing illegally. There is no track of the waste. So that was the prime objective, that whatever waste is generated, at least that waste has to be collected. So after that there would be door to door collection mechanism has been established, that municipality person come to your door, you have to give them a waste. So that leads to almost 90% of the collection of the municipal solid waste, and similarly for hazardous waste, and similarly for the biomedical waste. Always when you improve the collection, management becomes easy. Then after collection there would be the question of transportation. Transportation, we cannot take out the waste in our own car and throw at one place. That should not be done. So transportation should always be planned transportation. There must be dedicated vehicle for that, right? So all that thing you have to consider when you are uh, thinking of minimizing the adverse impact. And its treatment also, as I said, the waste can be compostable in nature. So we have to analyze the waste, we have to segregate the waste, and then based on the characteristic that waste possess, we have to suggest or we have to undergo its treatment. And those waste cannot undergo treatment, has to be disposed in a scientific engineered manner, so that the waste can be minimized, and human health effects of on human health and environment can be minimized. So under this approach, waste is considered an unavoidable byproduct that ultimately require disposal, typically in landfill or other designated facility. So it is a linear approach, as I said, raw material extraction, it undergo manufacturing, it is under consumption chain, and then it is under disposal path. So cradle is the generation. Let if I give the example of that, the paper that we use, right, starting from the forest or the wood. So wood is the raw material. So we have to consider that waste principle from wood cutting to manufacture. So it manufacturing, pulp and paper industry. What waste is generated over there and how we are managing that waste at manufacturing level. Then comes to us the consumption part, how we consume this paper waste, and then after that consumption, where we are throwing that waste. So that is the disposal. So this is the linear cradle to grave conventional traditional principle of waste management, and these are the three modern waste management principles which you are going to work in the field, or you are going to come across with this during your internship or in the field experience. So first is waste exchange, second is circular economy, and third is zero waste disposal. So all of this modern waste management principle ultimately reach to the zero waste disposal, right? So what is waste exchange? We all know about exchange word. We have to just replace something is not useful to you, you that must be useful to someone, right? The waste exchange theory, I would suggest all the engineers, all the participants present in this lecture, always, wherever you visit any industry, first thing, look at the waste, what waste they are generating. Then, second, as I told in a very first slide, waste is nothing but resource. So, wherever you observe waste, you have to come in your mind that it is not waste, it is resource. So, when you understand that it is a resource, you try to apply your scientific knowledge, whatever you have, the technical knowledge, or read some articles or research related to that waste, go through the entire its manufacturing, from where this waste is generated, what would be its characteristic, and similar type of waste, I would not say waste now, resource can be useful to some other industry or not, right? So that by exchanging the waste is not going into environment directly. For other industry, that would be the resource. Wherever for other industry it is resource, what you are doing, you are minimizing the demand of virgin resource, the natural resource. So it is a win-win situation for industry people also, that waste is also utilized so that there won't be any environmental impacts, and you are also contributing towards environment by saving the natural resource, right? So waste exchange, which is really one of the modern waste management principle, and that has to be implemented at industry level as well as domestic level. I would not say waste exchange principles to be applied for the biomedical waste, right? So we will discuss that later part. But waste exchange theory is based on the principle that waste generated by one industry, organization, and process can serve as valuable raw material. It could be raw material, it could be fuel, or it could be resource for another industry, thereby reducing waste disposal and conserving natural resources. Second most, we all This is a buzzing word in environmental engineering field right now, and that is a circular economy. So what is circular economy? Circular economy is a sustainable economic system in which product, materials, and resources are kept in a use for as long as possible through reuse, repair, refurbish, remanufacture, recycle. I hope you all know about 4R concept, and this is a modification of 4R concept only, right? So by thereby minimizing waste generation and resource consumption. If I say that circular economy is buzzing word for today's context in India or globally, but India is doing since so many years, right? Remember that we buy a new cloth from the market, we wear it, then we do not throw that into dustbin. What our mother will do, it will use for cleaning of the glasses or floor, then not possible, then and then it throw into dustbin, right? So this is simple circular economic concept. Similarly for brush we buy, we use it to clean our teeth for 6 months or 3 months, then we don't throw that into our dustbin. We use to clean our utensils. Means we maximize its use. જ્યાં સુધી થઈ શકે use, ત્યાં સુધી you are using, repairing, refurbishing, remanufacturing, and recycling. So this is circular economy concept. It is utmost requirement in India, not India, the entire in I would say the world should adopt this circular economy concept. Zero waste disposal. Our India is reaching to the circular economy concept right now. Everyone is talking about that you have to use the resource as much as you can. But to reach zero waste disposal, we have to redesign our production system and consumption system. If tomorrow iPhone 20 launch, we all would be in a queue to buy the iPhone 20, even if we have new latest iPhone 17. So that is our consumption system. That iPhone 17, either we keep it at our home कि मारवा बगड़ से तो I will use that my phone so that my communication never be interrupted. So we have to see that we have to use the things sustainably. Wherever something come into market and we buy to show that my lifestyle is this, the India now have to rethink that our life was sustainable. The moment we shift our lifestyle to the modern Western countries, these problem of elevated generation of the waste is increasing so day by day. So this is zero waste unless until we redesign our production and redesign our consumption system, we cannot reach to zero waste disposal concept of management. Then this is, you all must know that how to manage it. If I have some theory of my in my mind that I want to manage my biomedical waste in this way, if I am an industrialist and if I say that I want to manage my hazardous waste in this way, so that is not possible under our legislation. So it is a statutory requirement in India at least. Other countries also have their own legislation for that. But in India, we must know this umbrella. After this session, you have to remember this umbrella for your long journey in a field. So, umbrella is nothing but the combination of all the rules for the solid waste. So, Umbrella Act, Environment Protection Act 1986, which is the umbrella legislation under which all the rules has been enacted. So, who means Environment Protection Act? After that, which rule first framed? So, first rule was framed in 1989 called Hazardous Waste Management Handling Rule 1989. So, for hazardous waste under EPA Act governing industry, right? So, now onwards, your concept has to be very clear that hazardous waste is generated from the industry, and this 1989, within a 3 year, the first rule was framed under this EPA Act, that was hazardous waste, because our industrialization was at the peak and there were no rules, no prescribed procedure that if the industry is generating, let's say, sludge, ETP sludge, how to manage it, what are the legislative steps for that. So in 1989 that came. Then after, in 1998, the biomedical waste management handling rules came. Then in year 2000, municipal solid waste management handling rules came. Then later in 2011, the e-waste management and handling rule came. But these all the rules were suppressed and major reforms has been done. Freshly new rules has been enacted in 2016. So in 2016, the municipal solid waste is now changed to solid waste management rule 2016, where it is talking about comprehensive management of solid waste. Then biomedical waste management rule 2016, there the management principles, the management practice is somewhat modified. Then hazardous and other waste. Earlier it was only hazardous waste. Here the other waste is also involved into it. And not only management, it's transboundary movement from one state to the another state. How our hazardous waste can be managed in interstate or intercity for that. And e-waste management rule 2016 revised management of e-waste. So there also EPR Act, extended producer responsibility, and other principles of the management has been added. New responsibilities has been added in all these newly framed 2016 rules. Right now, if I'm saying that there is in year 2022, there is a separate battery waste management rule came, because our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has a vision that we all switched over towards the EV cars. So EV cars are run on the battery. So we have to have, because battery has a life, so we all have to think that how we manage this battery waste. Then e-waste management rule again frame, as I told, EPR is more stricter. And right now, after 1st April, the solid waste management rule 2026 is in practice for the solid waste management. So, hazardous waste, as I told, why we are not talking in this session, why we are not talking about the solid waste, why we are not talking about biomedical waste, why we are talking about hazardous waste? Because you are taking either your internship at Gujarat Cleaner Production Center, or you are taking your internship at Gujarat Pollution Control Board. And these two body, they are working closely with the industry. So you would be come across with the hazardous waste management much rather than the biomedical waste and the solid waste. Definitely those who are working with the Gujarat Pollution Control Board, they might get a chance to work in biomedical waste management sector also. But hazardous waste, as I say, it is a growth engine. So basic knowledge of hazardous waste we all must have. So my focus would be on hazardous waste. So definition is given in latest rule, hazardous and other waste management and transboundary rule 2016. I have taken from that. So what is it? Hazardous waste means any waste. When I say any waste means it could be solid, it could be semi solid, it could be liquid waste, by reason of its characteristics such as physical characteristic or chemical, biological, reactive, toxic, flammable, explosive, or corrosive. So when you see these buzzing words, physical, chemical, biological, reactive, toxic, flammable, explosive, corrosive, so wherever you visit any industry, just look at that whether any waste generated at an industry having this characteristic or not. So these characteristics cause danger, right? Or likely to cause danger to whom? Either to the health or the environment. Whether alone, if I say the waste oil is lying on the one of the corner of the industry, which is in drum. So now you would say, okay, there is no problem. It is in drum. What is the problem? But if the waste oil is alone, no issue. It is an issue, but still it is no issue. But if it is in contact with, let's say, with the water or any solvent, then it may cause fumes, toxic fumes. So, not the waste as alone, but in contact with other waste. Solvent is also waste. So, when it is in contact with other waste or substances, can cause danger, can catch a fire, can be exploited, can be toxic, generating toxic fumes, or maybe reactive, can be corrosive, right? So the waste not only alone you have to see, but in contact it may cause danger or likely to cause danger to health or the environment. So, what are the characteristic of hazardous waste? As I say, toxic, reactive, corrosive, it might ignite, flammable, or explosive. So, the hazardous characteristic of waste determine the potential risk it pose and justify the need for special handling, treatment, transportation, and disposal practice. Simply you think that waste is there in an industry, we don't know which characteristic it possesses. Okay, so we cannot collect in our hand. It might be corrosive, right? So we cannot collect as it is, where as our municipality person come collect our municipal solid waste from one bucket to the another bucket. So this type of handling cannot be done for hazardous waste. Even if we cannot store them, we store our solid waste in our dustbin. Similar thing we cannot do as for the hazardous waste, because it may in contact with other waste. And our dustbin, if we analyze our dustbin, there would be fruit waste, there would be vegetable waste, there would be plastic, there would be paper, there would be even Bluetooth also, there would be cell, our toothpaste, toothbrush, all the things we think or we use throughout our day. So here it cannot be done that okay, ETP sludge is generated, spent acid is generated, everything we store in a one room. That cannot be possible. So the special attention is required. Not only its collection, its storage is also important. Its transportation is also important, and how we dispose and treat is equally important. And that is done accordance with the hazardous and other waste management and transboundary movement rule. Whatever is written in black and white. Now you must understand, those who are in GPCB or GCPC, black and white means whatever is written we have to follow. We cannot apply our own imagination, right? That this waste has to be handled like this. No, whatever is written word to word, implementation has to be done, or implementation has to be checked, implement has to be verified, right? So this is hazardous waste. Now the question arises, you as an intern, and even if I as a professor, even if those who are working or those who are taking training in various sectors of environmental engineering, the first question is how we can say that waste is hazardous or not. I am talking now, we are entered into industry only, right? So you have to imagine industry only. So some waste is lying or generating, you are observing that this waste is there in industry, maybe solid, maybe semi solid, maybe liquid. How to identify that this waste is hazardous or not? Because we cannot check its chemical characteristic by observing it. We cannot check its corrosivity. We cannot check its flammability. We cannot check on the spot. So what we can do? So it is also given in black and white rule 2016 that there are three schedules. Schedule 1, which is given just after the rule completes, right? Process specific hazardous waste. Let's say there is roll mill, right? So during this roll milling, the spent acid is generated. So in black and white, it is written that, let's say you are visiting roll milling industry. Spent acid is generated means it is under schedule 1 and it is hazardous. You should not apply your logic and say that whether it is flammable or toxic. No, it is written, it is mentioned under schedule 1, right? So that is process specific hazardous waste. Then schedule 2. After schedule 1, there is a schedule 2. Hazardous characteristic and concentration limits. This is very interesting. I would share one case study for this hazardous characteristic and concentration limit. Let's say there is a
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, 10 minutes left. So that
Sure.
will speed up the presentation.
Yeah, sure. Hazardous waste is there, and there is a sludge. So in sludge, there would be heavy metal also. Let's say it's a mercury present into it. So if mercury present into it, we do chemical analysis of sludge and see that mercury is present. So we have to see how much concentration, means how much milligram per gram of a sludge mercury is present. So in schedule 2, the different classification of the concentration limit is given. If concentration limit, if your mercury present into that sludge is lesser than the concentration limit mentioned under schedule 2, it is not hazardous waste. So now it is important for environmental engineers to know the concentration limit. Wherever you see the sludge, heavy metal sludge, and you say it is hazardous, it is not so. We have to analyze its limit. And third, the import and export related waste, transboundary, whatever waste is listed under Schedule 3, they all would be considered as hazardous waste. So I have given a note. You just read it. It not every industrial waste is hazardous waste. Can be, you can prove that this is non-hazardous waste. A waste becomes hazardous only if it falls under these three prescribed schedules or exhibits hazardous characteristic. So this is hazardous waste storage facility requirement. As I say, it is not just like our dustbin. It has some designated area for storage of the hazardous waste. Impervious flooring should be there. Cover storage area. There must be proper ventilation, spill collection system, smoke detector, and very important for trainers that train that the hazardous waste at industry should not be stored more than 90 days. We give, means Gujarat Pollution Control Board give relaxation for more 2 months or 3 months during the monsoon season. And the waste, hazardous waste transportation, as I said, you cannot take waste from the storage facility and any truck transports. No, there would be the transportation requirement. So transportation system is designed to ensure safe movement of hazardous waste from generator. Means industry is a generator to either to recycler or co-processor or TSDF facility. Yes, just remember this is TSDF facility where the waste is collected, treated, and disposed safely. So, what are the requirement for transportation? Transportation through authorized transporter only, and that authorized transporter should be done by the State Pollution Control Board. Proper packaging and labeling of hazardous waste container, display of hazard warning. If it is flammable symbols should be there. If it is explosive, all the symbols should be mentioned on that waste. Use of manifest system for tracking hazardous waste movement. Availability of the trump card, that is transport emergency card during transportation. GPS tracking system. I am very much proudly say that our Gujarat Pollution Control Board is the only state pollution control board has GPS tracking system for this hazardous waste transportation. And the emergency preparedness during the accidents at spillage. So this is very much important for you to understand the manifest system. Wherever you visit any industry, you may ask some of the copy either at the generator, either to the operator, so that you can understand whatever waste is generated at generator side is completely reached, transported to the operator or not. So these are the 7 copies that manifest system carries. You may take photograph of it so that you can refer for the further. But this proves that whatever waste is generated from the generator site, it is reached to the operator facility called TSDF. So that what is the purpose here? That minimize the illegal dumping, right? And trump card, the transporter must carry this trump card, right? So trump card, what trump card is having the information, what waste it is carrying, what PP should be carry while there would be any spillage or something, first aid measures, firefighting measures, spill control measures, and most importantly, the emergency contact number. Then what is TSDF? That is, you must all know the TSDF means treatment, storage, and disposal facility. What activities are happening at TSDF site? They receive the waste, they verify the manifest. Manifest means the document which sender has sent. Waste inspection, the whatever operators say that my waste would be in liquid form, so whether it is in liquid form or not. Temporary storage, they do treatment, they do recovery, They have treatment part and environmental monitoring system. This is a typical layout of TSDF site. The main entry gate you can observe from the top of the presentation. The vehicle, designated vehicle enters. First is go to the weighbridge. Then it goes for the laboratory where the inspection is carried out. Then it goes to the hazardous waste storage area. Here I want to spend only 2 minutes. Hazardous waste storage area should be compatible with each other. Compatible waste has to be stored together. What I mean by compatible waste? Compatible waste means you are only store waste, those waste together which are compatible. Means if they are in contact by mistake, they will not cause any hazard, either fire, either the explosion, either the fume generation. So there would be the compatibility chart is always displayed at a hazardous waste storage area, that this waste means, let's say, category corrosive waste is there, should not be stored with the explosive waste. So there is a compounds written that which waste, if in contact with other waste, what possible hazard can be done. So that waste should not be stored at that. Then it may go to the treatment part, and those waste cannot go for the treatment, should be go for secure landfill site, and that secure landfill site should have leachate collection system, and whatever leachate is collected has to go to the effluent treatment plant. So this is what the typical TSDF layout, which we all must know. Then the waste is reached, right? Which waste will go for incineration, which waste will go for landfill, and which waste will go for co-processing, that we have to understand, and that majoritarily it is designed by the calorific value. If calorific value of my waste again I am recalling you, either it may be solid, semi-solid, or liquid. If it is calorific value is greater than 2500 kilocalorie per kg, it will go for incineration for sure. If it is less, then it should be go for landfill. And if it is between 2500 to 3000 kilocalorie per kg, moisture content is low, then heavy metals are also within limit, then and then it will go for co-processing, otherwise will go for incineration. So it is known as waste acceptance criteria. Now you all should know about rule 9. Everyone is talking about this product or this waste under rule 9. So what is rule 9? Under rule 9 of hazardous and other waste management and transboundary movement rule 2016, hazardous and other waste may be utilized. As I told, waste exchange management principle is applies under rule 9 as a resource or after pre-processing, either for co-processing, either for recycling, recovery of energy, recovery of material, reuse, subject to approval. You cannot apply your logic as an industry person. You have to take approval from Central Pollution Control Board for co-processing, recycling, recovery, and reuse. So co-processing is the use of suitable hazardous waste as an alternative fuel or raw material in industrial process, particularly in cement kiln, right, in an environmentally sound manner. So I am very much glad to share that though the waste generation of hazardous waste is huge, we have this legislation, and our state pollution control board and central pollution control board has also established adequate number of facility called TSDF, common hazardous waste incinerator facility, facility for decontamination of discarded drum container, co-processing cement kiln plant in a Gujarat so as to do the waste exchange or to do zero waste disposal concept. So TSDF side, majoritarily there are almost 8 to 10 operational TSDF sites are there. Majoritarily, the location is in Ankleshwar, Dahej, Vapi, Halol, Rajkot, and Surendranagar. Common hazardous waste incineration facility is available with the Bale. The Bale is too much ahead in this all the facilities to safeguard environment in Gujarat. Then third, the decontamination facility of Drum. Again, it is in Ankleshwar, Bale. Co-processing we are doing with Ultratech, Ambuja, JK Lakshmi, and other in Gujarat. So thank you very much for listening me patiently. But remember, today's waste is tomorrow's resource when managed sustainably. So I with this slide, I am stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, let us take some questions from the participants.
Yes. Anyone have any
Any
doubt?
question? Hmm. You can also write in the chat box. Yeah, we have one question from Himanshu. It is ethical. I'm not able to say it. It is ethical and legal in view or international norms and environment viable option for dumping hazardous waste directly into deep sea dumping. Will the aquatic life remain unaffected?
So,
Question.
huh. So, Himanshu, there is no legislation in India till date, as far as my knowledge is concerned, is allowed to discharge or dispose any of our hazardous waste into deep sea. Even if we want to discharge the wastewater into deep sea, we have to take permission from MOEF and CC, and that is not even easy. We have to show so many safeguard, so then and then it gives the permission, so it's not permitted at all. Even if not permitted in India, means it is not permitted across the globe.
Any other question? Please raise your hand or unmute yourself to ask the question.
Yeah, I would be very happy if someone asks question, or give feedback that how you feel, that whether your knowledge is enhanced or not.
Exactly. Yeah, we have another question. In the TSF site, how they segregate the waste, hazardous waste?
Okay, in TSDF side there is nothing like segregation. In industry itself, the industry has to segregate their waste, means they have to collect the waste separately, manage their waste separately, label them, package them separately, and send separate waste to the TSDF site. So there is no question of segregation. There is a question of storage of the different category of the waste at TSDF site. Compatible waste has to be stored at TSDF site. There is no word of segregation in hazardous waste. It is already segregated from the source, means from the generator side.
Yes, Himanshu. Unmute yourself and ask the question.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself, Himanshu Sharma from PTU Gandhinagar. So,
Yeah.
actually, as you mentioned, there is no legislation as such. So, government itself is planning for dumping hazardous waste. So, like what they are preparing, like dumping directly into the deep sea. If so, there is no.
See, first, there must be amendment in the rules. If planning stage could be anything, but there must be amendment, reform in the legislation first, then it must be in black and white, and then they can go for the dumping of the deep sea. But as far as my view is concerned, it is even if it is in planning stage, cannot be reached to the implement stage as far as my knowledge is concerned, because lots of even complaints are coming from the wherever there is waste water is being discharged into the deep sea. So there is only one thing that we as a humankind, selfish humankind left, it is ocean, and no one will no one will think that we destroy that also. So still it is in planning stage only. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I'm really agreed because it will certainly disrupt the whole ecology of the
Correct.
deep sea.
Yeah, because
So
it is only one sink that is remain untapped or not polluted yet. So we must conserve. We have to think for that sink also.
thank you so much, ma'am, for really knowledgeable. It was a really knowledgeable session for me itself, and thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
We have another question from Ishita. She's asking that give me the example of particular material that is being used in exchange of, I mean, waste.
Yeah.
Co-processing. She's
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah. So, if you know, Gujarat is a leading sector in dye and dye intermediates. So, we have even Vatva itself, there are so many H acid and vinyl sulfone plants are there. So, in that, the wastewater which is generated, we suggest them MEE, multi effect evaporator. The salt which is generated, that is known as global salt. So global salt can be utilized to the cement manufacturing as a raw material. So that is a classical example of waste exchange that Gujarat can think of, and Gujarat is doing so also.
And I also want to add that you can also visit the SOP designed by
Correct.
CPCB,
Central Pollution Control
which is
Board.
given on the website of CPCB, where you can say search that which waste can be used as a resources in the another industry.
Yeah.
Another question is that major problem we saw at TSDF is leachate. So
Yeah.
how we can manage it rather using? I'm not able to see it.
See,
Any other technologies available?
at TSDF side, major problem is not leachate, because during the design stage, we do the leachate management system, and it is mandatory under the legislation. So there is designated leachate collection system is already established. The thing is treatment part. The leachate is collected, whether it is being treated in ETP or not, that would be the question, right? So there would be ETP, the conventional ETP can work, or even if we are proposing industry either spray dryer, because leachate is highly concentrated waste stream, so we can incinerate them, and we can safely manage the leachate which is generated from that. And even if we go for advanced treatment technology, even if we suggest RO or MEE, means we have to go for zero liquid discharge, right? Because it is concentrated, having heavy metals, n number of heavy metals, so one technology cannot solve the problem. So integrated technology with zero liquid, we can suggest to the TSTF. Or incinerator can also be the technology to destroy the leachate.
Yeah, I think we have taken almost question. So, shall we end the session here or any other question? Okay. Okay, so ma'am, thank you so much for
Okay.
the valuable and such an informative session. And also thank you for sparing your valuable time.
I would like to thank GCPC for giving me such an opportunity. Thanks to Bharat Jain sir, you and your team to manage this type of
One has
information.
also conveyed regards to you.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
yeah,
looking forward for this type of much more sessions with you in
yeah, yeah.
future. And all the very best to all the trainee. Do your best and learn so many from this your internship days. Thank you very much.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so now let's start our next session, session 4, which is on the online presentation of the interns. So we have two interns who have to give presentation today. Ma'am, you can leave now. Vishwa, ma'am. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah, so we have two interns. One is Mr. Kondubanthi Vidyasagar, and another is Mr. Dhruvil Upadhyay. So who will make presentation first?
Ma'am, should I
Dhruvil?
share my PPT?
Uh, who is asking? Sorry. Yeah, Vidyasagar.
I am Vidya Sagar, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Share your PPT.
Okay, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, visible. Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, respected GPCB member and my fellow students.
Uh, please speak
My
loudly.
okay. Good afternoon, respected GPCB members and my fellow students. Am I audible?
You are audible, but your voice is little bit lower. Kindly speak loudly.
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon, respected GPCB member and my fellow students. My name is Kondavatini Vidya Sagar, currently pursuing MSc Microbiology at Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Computer Education and Applied Sciences. And today I am presenting my internship experience here, in which I received practical exposure to biomedical waste management system and environmental compliance practices. Now, in this internship, with the help of presentation, I would like to share my work experience, key learnings, field